Welcome to the Gordon Miller podcast on YouTube. Today I wanted to talk about Wendy, Wanda, Waddle, the amazing story that she had growing up in Martinsville, Virginia. Wendy Wanda Waddle was born December 28th in the year 2000 in Martinsville, Virginia. After graduating high school in 2019, she decided that she wanted to be a truck driver, but her dad encouraged her to tell her to look, you probably won't be able to be a truck driver, not because you can't do it, it's because you will be going in and out. Her dad was a truck driver and always gone away from the home for hours on end. Hours upon hours on end, he was away, and his mom was a secretary in a dentist office, or her mom was a secretary in a dentist office, says Wendy Wanda Waddle. And she really wanted to be a truck driver so bad, and her dad said, well, you can try it out, and we can get you to be a truck driver here. And so she started being a truck driver she started training in the summer of 2019 at the local truck driving training facility that was 5 miles northeast of Martinsville, in an underground facility where they had truck driving, and that's where they had it, I guess. So anyway, according to the story, Wendy Wanda Waddle wanted to really drive for wherever she could, and she had a route all the way to Oregon. Now, Oregon, the eastern part of Oregon, she loved going there. But then lately, the last couple months, even in 2024, she said she was quoted as saying, "Father, I just don't want to be driving truck anymore. You were absolutely right. I miss the family. I don't want to be going to Oregon in my route driving." And then her father was quoted as saying, "Well, Wendy Wanda Waddle, perhaps I told you that." And then Wendy Wanda Waddle replied back, and she was quoted as saying, "Well, Father, I understand. I did make a mistake. But yeah, perhaps I should give it a more thought and more of a thought to completing or staying with the trucking company where her retired father used to work, and then the supervisors or the supervisors of the trucking company, the dispatchers or whatever they're called, said yes, as they were quoted as saying, Wendy Wanda Waddle is one of the best truck drivers we have here at so and so trucking company in Virginia. Now, Wendy Wanda Waddle, a couple months later, this was March of 2024, when she was quoted as saying, "I don't know, Father. I don't know if I really want to be a truck driver anymore, driving all the way to Oregon. I know it's the eastern part of Oregon, not the western part of Oregon. It's the eastern part of Oregon, which is a better place than the western part of Oregon." And then her father was quoted as saying, "I think it's pronounced Oregon." Then Wendy Wanda Waddle was quoted as saying, "Look, Father, I know, but Oregon sounds so bad because your organs." And then her father was quoted as saying, "Well, I know, but that's how they pronounce it, I guess." And then her father said, or then Wendy Wanda Waddle said, "Well, look, I think I'll just pronounce it Oregon. Oregon. Is that okay, Father? Are you going to sue me for this?" And then her father, this is Wendy Wanda Waddle's father, is quoted as saying, "Sure, Wendy Wanda Waddle. That's absolutely fine. You know what? That's absolutely okay. You're absolutely fine in this to say Oregon. That's all right, Wendy, Wanda, Waddle. Don't beat yourself up over it. Then Wendy, Wanda, Waddle was quoted as saying, no, I'm not beating myself up over it. I'm going to keep on calling it Oregon. Even though it's the eastern part of Oregon, I will drive there and do my duties as a truck driver. Then Wendy Wanda's Waddle's father was quoted as saying, that is truly amazing. Thank you very much for pointing out Oregon. Yes, Oregon. That is, I think I'm so inspired that I will say Oregon. That's Wendy Wanda Waddle's father was quoted as saying that. She was very happy that her father was able to say Oregon. Even though she drove to the eastern part of Oregon, she never got to see Portland, a very beautiful city in Oregon. Yes, Wendy Wanda Waddle is one of the most heartwarming stories in all of stories that's going on in planet Earth. An amazing, exciting story that will go. This podcast will go probably viral. It will make Wendy Wanda Waddle famous. She'll get a movie contract. I mean, she'll get everything, and she'll be able to make probably billions or even trillions of dollars just by me talking about this story of Wendy Wanda Waddle, the amazing truck driver in Martinsville, Virginia, where even though she drives to the eastern part of Oregon, she drives with such amazement. And her truck driving dispatcher was quoted as saying, Wendy Wanda Waddle is one of the best truck drivers of all time. I can't believe a lady this young is amazing at her duties of being a truck driver. Even though she's traveling to the eastern part of Oregon, she does an amazing job for the Martinsville trucking company that's located, actually the one that's located underground 5 miles northeast of Martinsville, Virginia. End quote. That's all the quote it was. That was an amazing quote, even though it was amazing. I kind of lost here with all the quotes going on. I apologize, listeners of this amazing podcast. Just so many quotes. I have her father, Wally Witchett Waddle with a W. I think that's supposed to be Richard, but it's Witchett with a W. But anyway, this is an amazing story on the Gordon Miller podcast. Thank you very much for listening to the Gordon Miller Show podcast on the YouTube channel. You all have a great day. Thank you. When you want the best podcast, tune in to the Gordon Miller podcast, for the best podcast in the universe, the Gordon Miller podcast.